Atlanta-based UPS has quietly cut nearly 40,000 jobs so far in 2025 across the country.
Another thing that's really different for younger people is the permanence of brokenness. In the past, it was kind of like a joke, something to expected to be in a broke area.
Let me tell you something. The job market is not playing. Not only are they not hiring, they're only hiring quality people.
These 200, the article says, 200 of the hubs are going to be converted to be very, very much automated.
2025 revenue guidance and operating profit coming in weaker than expected. And UPS is having its worst day on record.
UPS announced it reduced 34,000 jobs in its operational workforce, 14,000 mostly management jobs. It expects to save $3.5 billion by the end of this year.
UPS cut 48,000 jobs so far in 2025.
UPS will offer buyouts to its delivery drivers. The full-time drivers are eligible for a buyout and can keep their earned retirement benefits, including pensions and health care.
I have 14 years left with this company with my brothers and sisters. So if you want to know what my buyout's going to be, it's going to be about 1.96 million.
Your ratio of even getting the job that you're applying for is 0 to none. Also, if you have a job, the job market is so bad that your job is overworking you and still paying you the same salary. They're switching up schedules on you, giving you more work, less pay, cutting budgets on you.
Have you ever shown up to work only to find a layoff notice on your desk? What happens when a delivery giant cuts one in every 20 jobs? And how do tariffs and Amazon's shifting volumes force long-time drivers out the door?
They about to fire because... Dang, how the f I do that?
Change is being driven by e-commerce. It's being driven by the uncertainty around tariffs. And what they've been able to do is increase productivity through technology, whether it's automation or AI.
United Parcel Service, UPS, on Tuesday said it had cut 48,000 positions in the first 9 months of 2025. UPS's 2025 cost-cutting drive slashes 20,000 positions, about 4% of its 490,000 global workforce. That follows 12,000 cuts in 2024, bringing the two-year total to 32,000 jobs lost. By June 2025, 73 sorting facilities and hubs will close, aiming to save $3.5 billion. Early in the year, Carol Tomé, UPS's CEO, told shareholders,
"We'll close about 10% of our buildings throughout the United States as an example of how we're freeing up assets and resources."
If we were to talk about what the company's goal is to have less drivers on the bottom and the top side. And this buyout program is to nudge some of those drivers that are ready to retire or thinking about leaving to go.
That clip highlights the human side of voluntary buyouts. Drivers pushed toward green lights and early exits. Unlike FedEx, UPS's 2024 cuts spared drivers. In 2025, however, voluntary buyouts offer $1,800 per year of service, minimum $10,000, and full-time drivers face tough choices: stay or take the deal.
I found out that one, my truck got red tagged last night. And for those of you that don't know, that means I'm not allowed to drive my truck. I had to sit there. So all my stuff, my water, everything, I had to go search and search and search. But I also just got completely screwed today.
This speaker's struggle captures the sudden, wrenching reality. Drivers sidelined with no notice, heavy loads undelivered, and bills still due. UPS's financial picture adds context. Q2 2025 revenue dipped 2.7% to $21.2 billion, down from $91.1 billion in 2024. Its stock has slid nearly 33% year-to-date, trading within an 84 to 145 range, and valuing the company at about $71.6 billion.
There's a lot going on at UPS, right? First, you're losing 50% of Amazon business over the 6 quarters, right? So by mid next year, they're going to have lost 50%.
The backdrop: Amazon, once a major UPS client, now makes up 11.8% of 2024 revenue, but will see its parcel volume slashed by 50% by mid-2026. 500,000 Amazon parcels a month will leave the UPS network in Q3 2025. At the same time, Trump's 2025 tariffs bite. A 145% levy on Chinese goods and the end of the low-value exemption drove a 34.8% drop in China to U.S. shipments in May-June. China accounted for 11% of UPS's international revenue, and now those parcels vanish or reroute. Union pressure mounts. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien warns UPS, "You're contractually obligated to create 30,000 Teamster jobs," and vows a hell of a fight over any violations. The 2023 to 2028 contract already adds about $30 billion in new labor expenses, but that won't stop the network reconfiguration. First casualty of Donald Trump's tariffs and trade war, UPS to cut 20,000 jobs amid drop in Amazon shipments. That headline nails the stakes. Tariffs, Amazon's retreat, and automation converge to reshape an industry and leave thousands out in the cold. Next, we'll examine how facility closures are slowing deliveries, which communities are hardest hit, and the bold tech UPS deploys to replace human hands. Stay tuned. Before we dive back in, please hit the like button. Your support fuels every story we share. We're aiming for 5,000 subscribers on Global Insight, and your subscription would mean the world to us. Thank you for helping us grow. Now let's continue.
We already delivered 50% of the SurePost product, so we're only insourcing the remaining 50%. It's a better value proposition for our customers, and it's a better value proposition for our share owners.
UPS said it would cut 20,000 jobs and shutter 73 buildings. The ripple effects of UPS's cuts go beyond pink slips. With fewer hands on deck, delivery promises are stretching thin. At a suburban Detroit hub, drivers report parcels stacking up on loading docks, as the company's better not bigger reorientation shifts focus to profitable lanes over coverage.
That the interest of them is to minimize the workforce by way of buyouts, by not consulting the union in order to thin that said workforce to generate more profit, moving higher paid guys out and lower paid guys in.
That clip zeroes in on frustration over how buyouts were structured, with management negotiating individual deals, while union-represented drivers must go through collective bargaining. A frontline worker confirms
24 months of continuous pay or a lump sum, and maybe continued benefit. But if you're a Teamster, you'd have to get that you'd have to negotiate it through the union. And if you're management, you'd have to negotiate it on your own and maybe hire your own lawyer.
This divide fuels mistrust as seasoned drivers face exits while newer, lower-paid hires fill routes. Delivery delays now routinely hit tracking updates. In mid-June, customers across Ohio saw ground shipments arrive 2 days late. UPS's own internal audit flagged a 12% increase in multi-day transit events compared to Q1. Companies that once relied on next-day service are forcing backups with freight carriers or even local couriers. Those pressures compound in local economies. In Metro Atlanta, UPS's home base, small retailers report a 15% slump in foot traffic when deliveries miss restocking windows. Community leaders warn of a domino effect. If stores can't get inventory, jobs suffer too. Meanwhile, the push for automation everywhere accelerates. UPS has earmarked 400 facilities for partial or full robotic sorting by year's end, squeezing workloads in traditional hubs. Early tests of AI-guided package scanning and conveyor belt arms in Phoenix and Newark show errors down by 8%, but maintenance teams are stretched thin, handling breakdowns and software updates. On Reddit, one former driver summed it up bluntly. "I've done a lot of jobs, and the UPS work ethic is different. It's a toxic environment with no proper training, and the workload is extremely harsh on your body." That sentiment echoes across online forums as seasonals quit mid-shift, forcing veteran drivers to cover extra routes at a moment's notice. Financial markets aren't blind to the trend. An industry report warns that as logistics labor shrinks, 200,000 Wall Street jobs could follow suit under mounting AI pressures, mirroring broader fears in sectors from finance to retail. Wall Street expected to shed 200,000 jobs as AI erodes roles. In response, UPS promises investment in people, rolling out up to $3.5 billion in capex this year for training, safety upgrades, and EV trucks to reduce driver fatigue. But skeptics note that most of that budget targets automation and software, not headcount stabilization. Across the industry, competitors are watching closely. FedEx's more modest restructuring spared 2,025 driver cuts, while USPS's early retirement incentive nudged 10,000 postal workers out the door. In 2024, logistics continues expanding its own network, absorbing parcels UPS no longer wants.
As part of the largest reconfiguration in UPS history, the package delivery service announced it will be blasting 20,000 jobs.
As UPS's network reshapes, paychecks tell a stark story. At one Midwestern center, a full-time driver shared this week's haul.
This is per 1 week, and we have a total earnings of $2,004.98, taxes of $487.49, total deductions of $204.25, with a net take-home for the week of $1,313.24.
Even with a solid rate, unpredictable schedules and sudden route cuts mean hours vanish faster than pay can stabilize. A veteran driver reacts.
I've been there with the company close to 10, driving 6, but if this is what they think we're worth, like how hard it was to get there as a driver, just to see those numbers, that's a slap in the face, man.
Those frustrations come as UPS quietly reports a mixed quarter. UPS reports better revenue, lower profit than expected. While revenue edged up slightly, profit margins fell short of Wall Street targets, underscoring that cost cuts haven't fully offset volume declines and automation investments. In rural Pennsylvania, a former hub supervisor launched a petition demanding local tax breaks to keep facility jobs in town. A township meeting drew over 200 residents, farmers, shop owners, and families, pleading for emergency incentives. Nearby, a community college fast-tracks a half-day logistics tech certificate, hoping to reskill laid-off employees for EV maintenance and AI diagnostics roles. UPS's own forecasts project that by 2027, 25% of ground routes will operate via electric vans, and 15% of sortation could shift to micro-hubs using autonomous carts. Yet real-world testing in Phoenix showed a 10% uptick in missed stops during peak heat. Human judgment still outperforms algorithms when roads warp under 110-degree Fahrenheit sun. Across the South, an Avondale, Alabama plant repurposed its closing hub into a community kitchen, feeding former employees and neighbors. That grassroots effort earned a Community Resilience Award from the Chamber of Commerce, proof that people adapt even when corporations retreat. In Washington, D.C., lawmakers held hearings where Teamsters, small business owners, and UPS executives sparred over the scope of buyouts and the pace of automation. Proposed federal grants for last-mile jobs could subsidize 50% of wages for drivers in underserved areas. But funding remains stalled in committee. Worried about canceled flights, frozen paychecks, or skyrocketing health bills? Watch 2025 U.S. shutdown. 750,000 workers are fired. Airports collapse, jobs and health costs soar. To see who really pays and what you can do about it. Click the video on your screen now, subscribe, and stay one step ahead.